Good morning and welcome back to another segment of LCTV News. I'm Dani Vittori, and this week, crowds were out to celebrate summer, organizations took action, and more. This is a special edition of the Lynn Lowdown, as we will be releasing two, with more details being revealed later in this broadcast. Here's the news for Friday, September 2nd, 2022. State officials met to discuss the possibility of a federal takeover of the MBTA. Amid statewide closures and an extensive list of emergency repairs, federal help with the MBTA is an option. While no decision has been made, Senator Brendan Creighton believes federal intervention could happen, but it will depend on the Federal Transit Administration report, which will be released later in the month. Representative Pete Capano stated there needs to be some form of a centralized transportation department, whether that stems from the federal government or other source. State representatives agree some form of intervention is needed, but what form that will take is still up in the air, with safety being the #1 priority. Lynn Woods Reservation is open to the public again after brush fires burned about 100 acres of land. Sunday saw many hikers and residents gathered to enjoy the newly reopened woods. As of Friday the 26th, it is open to the public, but there are still some areas which remain closed to visitors. Trees damaged by the fires are also marked with red or yellow tape until the DPW is able to take them down. There is hope that the worst is over, as there have been no reported fires since last Friday. A 2-alarm fire engulfed an Allerton Street house in flames on Wednesday afternoon. 2 ladder companies and a medic company arrived on scene. The fire then extended from the first floor to the roof, causing a second alarm to be raised and the rest of the Lynn companies to be called to the scene. Water pressure in a few hydrants became an issue, so firefighters had to look for additional hydrants to supply their hoses with the water required to put out the flames. Low water pressure, rising flames, and the roof starting to fall caused all responders to evacuate from the building and take a defensive position against the fire. The fire began just after 5 p.m., and crews were there until 11 p.m., mopping up and cleaning the scene. After an 11-week closure for renovations, the North Shore Latino Business Association has reopened to once again help Latino businesses grow and thrive. NSLBA is Lynn's first independently owned and operated Latino business center since being established in 2001. Founder Francis Martinez helped local businesses secure over $3 million in funding during the height of the pandemic. To date, they have helped 651 businesses, 94% of which are located in Lynn. According to water and sewer officials, water levels will drop below 50% within the next few weeks, which will put Lynn in a water restriction mandate. If it drops below 50%, those who have been watering their lawns and washing their cars will be given a warning. 2016 was the last time the city had a drought significant enough to warrant an enforced water ban. According to Mayor Nicholson, the city will stop watering most public green spaces, but splash pads will remain open. The city's reservoir also has a positive impact in times of extreme drought. Over the weekend, City Hall hosted the first Linside Out Festival at Lynn Museum and Frederick Douglass Park. Crowds flooded in from the community for a day of fun, as well as meeting those who help run Lynn. Here is a clip from the event.
Welcome to Lynn Inside Out. We are so excited to have you all here. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your Saturday with us.
This is a great opportunity for the community to come downtown and engage with the many different city departments that provide services, programming to the community. And so it's really an opportunity to get a feel for what City Hall is doing and what it can do for you.
There is a lot of resources, a lot of things, from help with lead paint to free food and produce to vans for senior citizens. And these are all like little things that you don't think the city's gonna have, but they have access to, and they just need a way to get it to the people. So it's important to be able to share and distribute all this information, knowledge, resources out to the community in an effective way.
Cheese, pepperoni, and vegetable pizza from Shoreline Pizza on Lewis Street. Come on down, ladies and gentlemen. I like to bring people together. It's what I live and breathe for. And today I've been blessed with the opportunity. I've been blessed to work with the Creative Collective, which is an organization, an entity that brings people together at an intersection where small business, art, and artists, and just community all meet and make things like this happen.
I think all cultures should share who they are. I mean, that's one of the hidden gems or most valuable pieces about Lynn, is that we're a huge community with various different people from all over the world that could share bits and pieces about themselves. And as a Cambodian American, it's really big and important for us to keep our culture as well. It's important to grow as an American, but also hold on to and retain the little bit of Cambodian that we know. And we're looking forward to do that through food.
So I'm specifically here volunteering to direct people where to go, what city departments are here, and specifically to point people in the direction of Vision Lynn, which is the long-range master planning that the city planning department is doing, which is really important for people to get involved and tell the city what they believe Lynn should be for the next many decades to come.
I think there really is, this is sort of the city's living room, right? This is the place where people can come together. And we've got these great assets that I mentioned, like the Lynn Museum and the Frederick Douglass Park, but we need to grow that. You know, we want to grow that into Central Square on the other side of the viaduct here.
Giving them opportunity, giving them voice is what we're all about.
Also on Saturday, there was a backpack and school supply giveaway at 16 City Hall Square. Children beginning a new school year could come and pick up a backpack and other things they will need entering the year. Take a look.
We are having our back to school event. We figure that back to school time is a very expensive time for many families. Many families have more than one child with an extensive back to school list, so we wanted to do what we could to help alleviate those costs. We had backpacks. They were full of folders, notebooks, pencil cases, pencils, pens, highlighters, markers, glue sticks, anything any kid needs to go back to school. We had a really great turnout today. Everything was gone in about 10 minutes, so we're very happy that we were able to help so many families today. In the community we live in, Lynn is a low-income community. A lot of the families do struggle with getting, basic needs for their children, and we figure that if we can help them with one thing, it's one more thing off their plate for them to worry about. So we got donations from a bunch of community members, which was great. The Community Giving Tree also donated some backpacks, so we're very grateful for them. So it took about a month to get everything together, and it took 10 minutes for it to all go away. So, I mean, it was pretty great turnout.
On Monday, August 29th, Save the Harbor, Save the Bay, Coast, Cannabis, and Apothca came together for a cleanup at Kings Beach. It has been difficult to keep the beach clean, both from litter and runoff from rainwater. Here is more from the event.
What's up, everybody? Joey Estrella here from Apothica. I handle the marketing. We're here at Red Rock Park with Coast Cannabis, and we're doing some volunteer work, cleaning up the beach and keeping our community clean.
We are really excited to have you because between Save the Harbor, the other nonprofit stakeholders, and the DCR, this beach needs a lot of help. There's understaffed and under-resourced organizations don't always get a chance to do this type of pickup, so the community investment is incredibly important. We've been really advocating for the past couple of years in earnest to see some movement, and we're seeing it now. We've got people all sitting in a room together, folks from Lynn and Swampscott working together, from nonprofit stakeholder groups, community groups.
We are the first independent product manufacturer here in Massachusetts. We are woman-owned and family-operated. Staying true to our name, we are here with our friends at Apothica cleaning up Kings Beach. We have a mission that we want to work with organizations that are not only cleaning up our waterways, but also making sure that they remain equitable for all of Massachusetts residents. And Save the Harbor, Save the Bay is a great organization to help us achieve that goal.
On Tuesday, the Lynn Senior Center hosted a climate change talk to learn more about how climate change is affecting the planet. Experts, including meteorologist Pete Bouchard, held an interactive session with seniors to answer questions they had and share research. Here is more.
We are so excited, and it's such a great honor to be here at the Lynn Senior Center, surrounded by so much love. It is surprising, and it is quite a gift and opportunity for us to come here and talk about something that they requested. They wanted to learn more about climate change. They see things happening. They've lived here for so many years, and they just want a little bit of the scientific side of it. And I think it would be great to kind of get a show of hands. Who's heard of climate change? Who believes it's happening? And who would like to get more information? Okay, so how many of you feel you receive enough information to understand what it's really about? Okay, that's why we're here today.
The seniors and the senior population in general has seen so much of climate change. We have the chronological history of the entire 20 years, 30 years, 40 years back, where we've seen the climate go from normal all the way to abnormal. And that's huge, and that story needs to be told.
So the reason the way to stop the sea level rise is to slowly take out carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. We here in this room will never see the planet the same way again. It's too late for us. We'll never see it. It will take 200 years to take out the carbon that's in the atmosphere right now.
Wow. What are you hoping for more than anything?
A little bit more awareness of the way the climate's changing, and being emboldened to talk about it and to tell people about it and tell their stories.
Muchísimas gracias. Dijo también Pete, gracias.
Now for the sports update. St. Mary's girls soccer beat Saugus High 5-3 in a scrimmage on Wednesday. The Spartans fell behind 1-0, but stormed back to take and keep the lead. The younger members of the team had a significant impact as all three of the goal scorers were sophomores. Brooke Milani, Sophia Scabias had 2 goals apiece and put good pressure on the Saugus goalie. Riley McGuire added the 5th goal. Both teams expressed how the scrimmage was a good way to see what they still need to work on ahead of the regular season. The Red Sox have found some life, winning 2 of 3 games in a weekend series against division rivals, the Tampa Bay Rays. This is their first series win since beating the Pirates in 2 out of 3 games on August 16th through 18th. They then went 1-for-2 against the Minnesota Twins, losing the first 2 games before winning the series finale 6-5. The Sox won the first of 4 games against the Texas Rangers in dramatic fashion with a walk-off 4-run 9th inning to win 9-8. The Patriots are now 1-2 in preseason play after losing 23-6 to the Las Vegas Raiders on the 26th. Bailey Zapp and Mac Jones had most of the work at quarterback, with Zapp going 10 for 14 and Jones completing 9 of 13 passes. Running back Kevin Harris had an impressive day, going 54 yards in 4 carries for an average of 13.5 yards per carry. Marcus Jones had 6 tackles and 1 assist to lead the defense. Kicker Kevin Folk did all the scoring, hitting 2 field goals with the long being 35 yards. They will now begin the regular season with an away game against division rivals, the Miami Dolphins, on Sunday, September 11th at 1 p.m. And that is the sports update. This is a special week for the Lynn Lowdown, as we will be releasing 2 for events happening on Saturday, the 10th. We have Judy Van Komen, founder and president of Those Who Can for Those in Need, discussing their 9th annual research fair. Also, Paul Coombs, chairperson of the Flea Market Committee, came in to discuss Fun N Flea Day, happening at Goldfish Pond. Here are the lowdowns. Good morning and welcome back to another edition of the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and on this edition we have Judy Van Komen, president and founder of Those Who Can for Those in Need. Thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure, Dani. Thank you for having me. Yeah. Lynn Community Cable has always been gracious and kind to me.
That's great. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. And would you just want to talk a little bit about your organization, how it started, how you founded it?
Sure. I first started a cable show that Lynn Cable airs called Life Issues. It has anything to do with life, and it's a resource information show. I started that, it'll be 12 years this coming December. And then a couple of years after that, I piggybacked off of it and started a nonprofit in memory of my husband. It's another resource information nonprofit that he was so kind, and he owned his own business and everything. So I wanted to give back and help others too that might be, looking for some help and some resources and stuff. So we actually will be celebrating our 10th anniversary next year. So if I'm invited back here, I'll talk more about, how it all started, all the details and rundown and stuff. So that's what we, put on an annual resource fair in September, right around the anniversary of his passing.
Okay. Well, it sounds like an amazing organization that you established. And so you mentioned that you have a fair coming up.
Yes. It's actually 3 weeks from this Saturday. It'll be Saturday, September 10th. Mm-hmm. It's going to be at the Dominguez YMCA here in Lynn from 11 to 2. And it's in the new Y. They just opened up, I think, a couple of years ago, and it's gorgeous and stuff. So they've been very kind in letting us use their space, and it's a big family type event. We have something for everyone, from reptiles, which I'm sure people watching this will see a picture of a young woman that comes with all types of reptiles and stuff. The guests can even hold them if they want. And then we have a magic show the kids love. He's really funny, very good and stuff. And we have a little young lady that dresses up as one of the princesses and does face painting. And we possibly may have a fire truck from the Lynn Fire Department. So the kids always like those touch-a-truck type things. So there'll be free food and water and stuff. So all kinds of organizations will be there. Like I mentioned, this is all about anything to do with life. So we will just have Mass Coalition for the Homeless is one that's going to be there. Project Bread, Bliss, and along with Mystic Valley Elder Services. So that's just a few.
Wow, definitely. It sounds like a very big, impressive event. And has it like grown over the years since this is your 9th one? Yeah.
10th, actually.
10th,
we
sorry.
started the
Yes.
resource fair first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes. We used to hold it in Winthrop because we're Winthrop based. And we decided to spread our wings and move out. And but the organizations are from the greater Boston and North Shore area. So we just keep on adding more and more resources. Once they participate in the resource fair, they're a resource for us, and we post their website and their information on our website, and we help them promote events and other things for them on our social media sites. We have a newsletter that comes out quarterly and everything. So like, we don't want to really think about it, but the holidays are right around the corner. So a lot of them have different drives, like, you know, they're looking for toiletries or socks or something like that. So that's something that we help promote too.
That sounds really great. Very much a family-friendly event too. You said you have things for kids, you have adults, families, a good mix.
Yes. Yes. Getting back to the cable show Life Issues, I have 12 cable stations, access stations that air my show. Wow. It's out there on social media, on Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever. So if anybody watching is interested in looking up some shows, then I just did one. My September show will be on the Cam Neely Foundation. He was a big hockey player, and so he started a nonprofit in memory of his parents. So they have a big fundraiser coming up in November, a comedy show at the Garden and stuff. So I just did a show with some of their people and to help promote and everything. So
definitely seem very involved in the community too, which is great. That's always a great thing to see. And I do have to ask, with the fair, how did, you know, now that COVID's been going on for a few years, how did that affect the fair? Were you able to do it?
No, for a couple of years we could not do it because of COVID, so we had to kind of skip, you know, the couple of years. But now, once it got back up and running, we moved it to Lynn, and we, you know, go from there. So
this will be the first time it's in the YMCA?
The second time.
Second time, okay. Yeah. I'm not good with numbers today. Okay.
That's okay.
And what, for people who come to the fair, what do you hope that they get out of it?
Well, it's a family type event, so they can bring the family and they can learn if somebody's looking for a particular resource for themselves or a family member or something, then they'll be able to learn more about that and ask, you know, for some extra help. Center Board too from Lynn is also going to be there, part of their organization and stuff. So
that's great. And I did notice too on your website you have a pretty large board, a lot of people. So it's all volunteer based, I'm assuming. How do people get on the board?
Either word of mouth, or, you know, if I know somebody that, you know, I think that would love to give back to and volunteer. They are all volunteers on the board. Even myself, I do not get paid. I do this because I want to do it, and we just, you know, help out.
That's a great thing to have. So for the event itself, do you know how many I guess organizations are going to be there this year?
Right now we have over 20.
Wow.
So
great. So, and it's all a mix, like you said, of kids. So when I have to ask, how do you go about organizing a fair like this? Because it seems like it's a big event.
I just, at the beginning I started, you know, I love to network. I'm a network queen, if you want to call me that. So I just go to different events and, you know, get business cards or talk to them about my nonprofit, and they'll say, oh, that sounds interesting and stuff. So start there and, you know, just invite them, you know, for the fair in September and everything. So if anyone is interested that's watching, they can email me at Judy, Judie, at twctin.org, or they can call me 617-462-5719.
Great. That's definitely good to know for any organizations that want to get involved, because there's so many that provide so many different services. Yeah. And I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, you never know when somebody is going to need a particular service and looking for an organization.
Mm-hmm. And I will circle back a little. You said that you did start this in memory of your husband. So you said it was because he really was big into giving back.
Mm-hmm. Well, he owned his own business, so he was so kind to his customers. In fact, I just ran into one of them yesterday, and she said, my dishwasher just broke. She goes, I always think of your husband and stuff. So I looked at him, I said, see, honey, I said, you're still missed, after almost 15 years and stuff. So yeah, his customers loved him and stuff because he was so kind and so helpful.
And that seems like such a beautiful way to honor him in doing this event. And when you're going about organizing it, you're the main organizer, but you have others on the board who help you, or it's like a collaborative event for that?
Yeah, so we've already assigned jobs for that day. Okay. So everyone will come when they're supposed to, and know what they're going to do, their job and everything. So, and they're there because they want to be there, to help out.
Definitely. And it just sounds like such a great event, great thing to do to really connect people with resources, like you said, because you never know who might need a specific resource.
Right. Because I know after my husband died that I didn't know where to turn, and I needed, particular resources and stuff. So that's kind of how this, started too, so.
That's great. And was there anything else that you wanted to say about the fair or the organization that I hadn't asked you about?
It's a free event for everyone. We've had some wonderful sponsors come forward to help pay some of the costs and everything, which I'm so blessed to have. They're organizations that are with us and stuff, so they want to say, help and everything. So, but if we have a bucket for donations, so if anyone wants to throw in a buck or two for the pizza or whatever, more than happy to take that and everything. But in general, it is a free event.
Yes, that's great. And I want to thank you again for coming on to talk about it, to really let the community know about that it's happening.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Of course. So once again, I'm Dani Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown. Thank you again for watching. Come back next week for more guests. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and this week we have Paul Coombs, one of the organizers of the Fun N Flea Day at Goldfish Pond, and also the chairperson of the Flea Market Committee.
Correct, yep.
Got that right. But thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, you're welcome, Dani. Glad to be here.
Of course. So maybe start just by telling us a little bit about it, like Fun N Flea Day, what is it?
It actually started the same time as the Goldfish Pond Association as mostly a fundraising mechanism because the organization had no money. And it comprised of a neighborhood flea market. It did pretty well from the very beginning and became very popular. So here we are, this is our 42nd annual flea market. We've missed a couple years. One year the pond was in very bad shape, pollution, and we were concerned for safety reasons. And of course, during the pandemic, we canceled it in 2020. But we're back again, and we're hope to continue this for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, great. And do you know how many vendors or people or organizations you have involved?
Generally, it's from 40 to 60.
Wow.
It varies every year, mostly I think due to the weather. If it's kind of stormy, obviously we have a few less people. And even if it's really hot, a few less people may come out as well.
And the event at Goldfish Pond.
Goldfish Pond, yep.
And when is the event?
It's always the Saturday after Labor Day.
Okay.
So this year it's Saturday, September 10th. It officially starts at 9 a.m. and we wrap up around 3.
Great. So a good amount of the day where you can come check it out.
Yep.
See it. And you mentioned this a little bit. So the proceeds go back to your organization to help with other.
The Goldfish Pond Association started in 1980 because the city was having a difficult time keeping up with the maintenance, and the neighbors decided to pitch in and help themselves. And one of the things that was really important to the members of the time was going back to the time when there was a real healthy flower display out on the island, and that was one of their first projects. Even though florists give us a good price and sometimes donate to us, flowers can cost $1,500 to $2,000 a year. And that's where the money has always gone traditionally towards Planting Day. Planting Day is also another annual event, and that's always the Saturday before Memorial Day. We also use the money for other improvements and enhancements around the pond. And wherever we have a gap, we need something really big. The city's always been very helpful, helping us get grant money for the fountains, the aeration system we put in a couple years ago. And they also got us some community development money to repair the wall back in 2019. So we have a pretty good partnership with the city, yeah.
Sounds like it. Sounds great. And it is a beautiful area down there. I love going down there to walk, go around. And this is slightly off the specific event, but you also do maintenance for it, like you said. You said Saturdays?
Yes, we have regular maintenance crews that come out every Saturday morning at 9 a.m., starting usually in late May and going into the beginning of October. Most of our attention is spent on the island. We cut the grass out there once a week. We weed out the flower beds and clean up out there, as well as going around the pond itself to maintain some of the grass, pick up the trash, and tend to the smaller flower displays like at the Flagpole Island and the children's garden off to the side of the stairway.
Well, you do a very good job with it.
Thank you.
It always
Thank you. And we're always looking for volunteers. So if anyone's available, 9 o'clock on Saturdays, we don't have the same people go out every week. We have crews that go out at designated times. Most crews go out 4 or 5 times a summer. But you can always just show up and join the crew that's there and help out for a couple hours. You know, we're not going to tell you to go home. So.
No, I love that. I love the community involvement. And going back to the event, there were a few things mentioned about different, like food or activities.
Right.
Do you want to talk any more about the specifics?
There's still a few things we're still trying to decide on. For instance, in the past, we used to put a major effort into food, and that was one of our money makers. But it was a lot of work. The money that came back wasn't, we thought it may not really be worth the effort. So we're thinking right now we'll do pizzas that we'll get from a local shoreline right around the corner from us. And I've spoken to the people at Rincon Macarazano about providing pastelitos. We'd also have sodas and cotton candy probably. On the other hand, and we'll decide this with the next day or two, we may just go with food trucks. We've been fascinated with that idea for a long time. So I'll know for sure in a couple days which avenue we're going to take. We also have a raffle. This year's isn't as big as we've done in the past. We usually sell tickets way in advance, and the top prize would be $500. I don't know what we're going to do for top prize, but every hour we'll pick raffle tickets, and people will be able to win a handful of gift certificates from local businesses that have been donated. I think most of those packages are going to be like maybe $100 worth of gift certificates. And we're doing something new this year called the Rubber Duck Race Raffle. And I don't quite understand everything about how it's going to be run, but our president, Trish Green, has been working on that, and that's going to be her her little focus. And amazingly, we already sold 100 tickets, 100 books of tickets at $5 a piece. So we're probably going to have to run another run of tickets and maybe have 2 races. But that's a first-time event for us, and we'll be excited to see how it turns out.
Yeah, me too, because I saw that on the website and was going to ask. I want to know how this is going to work. You're supposed to have the ducks in the pond.
Yeah, Trish has kind of generally described it, but I don't remember all the details. And we have faith in her to pull it off. So. Yes.
I definitely want to witness that. I want to see all the ducks racing.
It'll be fun just to watch, yeah.
Oh yeah, and it'll be another good thing for like families, kids, really anyone who wants to get involved in it.
And the other event we do that's really popular is boat rides around the pond. We do it in rowboats, and we usually charge $1. And it's busy from when we start around 10 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, and we close it down. And we have to have people take shifts to accommodate all the rides.
Yeah, to make sure whoever's rowing gets a break.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. And I will ask you a little bit, like, how did you get involved in the organization itself?
It's funny. I always thought about, I should do it. And I just wasn't really, until I walked by one day, I was just going to the store, had nothing to do, and the president at the time, Jack Garrity, said, "Why don't you pick up a rake and help out?" And I did. And then I got slowly pulled further and further into the organization, and I actually was president for 5 years, and that was awesome. A very busy job. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so willing to help out this year as a volunteer, because I know how much the current president has been, how much time she's been putting in to keep things running. So.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And you said you're fairly new in terms of nonprofit status, too, so that must be a whole other.
Yes, we debated for years whether to officially become a 501c3 organization with tax-deductible contributions and all that. And we finally did go through with that process in 2019. We're officially the Goldfish Pond Association Incorporated, and we are a designated 50c3 charity by the IRS. So.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Yeah. And what's your role within the association now? You said you were president.
Yeah, I'm just a volunteer now. So, and that was the 5 years were fun, but I needed to get a little bit of a break. So.
Someone else can do this.
Someone else can do it for a little while. Yeah.
Just hand off the reins a little. And anyone can volunteer with the organization.
Absolutely.
If they want to?
We have no restrictions. You don't have to live in the neighborhood. We have a few people who were members, they moved out of town. We didn't kick them out or anything. They still come by. And we're absolutely always looking to welcome new members and volunteers. And it's not a closed clique. New people come in all the time, and they very quickly become part of the family. And that's one of the things I like about the organization. And also our philosophy is, I think, important to get, is some people might be under the impression that we're just doing this for our own neighborhood to make it look good, but we're really doing this for everybody, for the whole city. Yeah. We're trying to show pride in a resource and a willingness to take care of it, and hopefully inspire other people to start neighborhood organizations and do the same kind of things. And we do have, we're willing to help out if an organization wants to talk to some of our offices or more experienced people about how to set up an organization. We'd be happy to help with that. So
that's great. Very much leading by example there.
Right. Yeah.
Which I love that. And I guess the final question would be, why do you think this specific event you're having a week from Saturday is important?
Well, for the same reason we decided not to kill it off. We have other fundraising mechanisms now that we're official nonprofit. The event itself can be a lot of work, and we were starting to think maybe it's not worth the time we put in. But more importantly, we all think, and we talked about this at our last membership meeting, that it's a good event for the neighborhood. It's kind of a tradition. It brings people together. It's a great social event. And there are some people, the only time I see them every year at the annual flea market, so that's another compelling reason to continue it.
Annual time to catch up with people.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a really fun thing to do.
It's a lot of fun,
Yeah, and I want to thank you again for coming on, talking about it, sharing some of the details.
Anytime. We're always happy to talk about the association and the work we do. So.
So I'd like to thank you again for coming on this show.
And I want to thank Lynn Community Television for inviting us on.
Oh, you're very welcome, of course. We always love having different organizations on to hear about all the things going on in the community.
Yep.
Yes. So, my name is Dani Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown. Thank you for watching. Come back next week with more guests. Now for the community calendar. Beginning tonight and going till Sunday at 11 p.m. is the Grecian Festival, hosted by the St. George Greek Orthodox Church. Located at 54 South Common Street, head down to enjoy traditional Greek food and entertainment. Next Saturday is full of events happening for the entire day. Beginning first, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. is the Goldfish Pond Fun N Flea Day, located at Goldfish Pond. With dozens of vendors, swing by to see what you can find in this large annual flea market. Then, there is the Lynn Fire Department and Lynn Police Department Family Fun Day, located at Lynn Woods, Great Lynn Woods Road, and running from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. The Those Who Can for Those in Need Resource Fair is also happening at the Lynn YMCA from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. With around 20 companies, head down to see what kinds of help are being offered, from school to counseling to home life support. Lynn Museum will be wrapping up the day by hosting 2 events. There will be a scavenger hunt from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. and History and Hops from 7 to 9 p.m. For more on the events listed above and other events happening in the community, head to our website, lyntv.org. That brings us to the end of this week's news. To stay up to date on all the latest news and events, go to our website, lyntv.org. Also, subscribe to our YouTube page, Lynn Community Television, to see the latest videos and interviews. Follow us on social media at Lynn Community Television as well to be informed of new events happening. I'm Dani Vittori, and we will see you next week.